homes. You might have to adjust to your kids' new school schedule. Find out what some schools are trying to do.
Economical boost. Who do you trust to create more jobs in your community? We'll show you who most Americans prefer.
Fishy business. There's a battle between fashionistas and fishers. We'll tell you what it's all about. I'm Lydia DeFranchi.
And I'm Janae Anderson. It's Tuesday, November 29th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
Year-round elementary schools in Granite School District may soon change to regular school schedules. 11 News reporter Ashley Moser visited the district to find out who's on board. So Ashley, how are people reacting to the change?
You know, I spoke to some parents and they're really excited to have their children start on a 9-month schedule. Many families say it's hard enough having one child on a year-round schedule and another on a regular one.
Tracy Kay's daughter walks to school each day to Wilson Woodrow Elementary. This school is one of 14 elementaries that are deciding between keeping year-round schedules or transitioning them into traditional ones. Kay says she's in favor of the change because it would be easier to pick up her daughter each day.
I just live right across the street and I'm home all the time anyway, so I just can come and get her. I come and get them instead of the bus.
And since the switch to year-round schedules in the late 1980s, Granite School District has saved money from not needing to build additional school buildings.
We did save upwards of $130 to $180 million in that 30-year period.
Although the district saved millions, year-round attendance is hard to keep up because of school during the summer. Parents also have a hard time getting their kids to after-school activities.
So they go a longer period of time during the day, so the students are actually in school longer.
With parents' support, 10 of the 14 schools are transitioning into traditional schedules. The other 4 schools are working on placing a large population of students in nearby elementaries before making the switch. And just like Kay, parents encourage the change because it will finally match up with their schedules.
The district will meet on December 6th to decide which schedule they'll use for next fall. And with class registration starting in February, the district needs to make a decision pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Police searched a University of Utah professor's home for anything that could contain child pornography. Officials say Grant Smith was viewing it on a flight to Boston and arrested him at the airport. Boston officials say they found 66 pornographic images on his laptop, but Utah officials haven't disclosed what was found at his home.
American Airlines is filing for bankruptcy, but it might not affect your holiday travels. The nation's third largest airline is deep in debt, but say they'll still operate normally with some schedule changes. They were the only airline who didn't file bankruptcy after the September 11th attacks and have fought fuel costs and labor disputes ever since. What do a pizza parlor and a sailing school have in common? Well, for one, they're both creating jobs in a tough economy. A recent Gallup poll shows Americans trust small and local business owners most to create jobs. And 11 News reporter Lydia DeFranchi shows us why so many people believe the answer to turning the economy around just might lie in your own hometown.
Varnished teak, the salt air, and the seagulls, pretty hard not to say this is something I'd like to pursue.
Todd Fry dreamt of sailing the open seas ever since that first experience. But it wasn't until after he retired that the dream became a reality right here on Utah Lake.
I decided, wouldn't it be fun to share my passion of sailing with others? And let's see, in 2007 we started the Bonneville School of Sailing just with the one boat.
The Frys financed the startup with their own retirement savings, and they've been learning the tricks of the business trade at a nearby center which provided training and contacts. Many small businesses sink within their first year, but with a little bit of help from the Orem Business Development Center and a lot of hard work, the Frys have managed to not just keep their business afloat, they're planning to continue to expand. At this point, Bonneville has hired 5 people, and it looks like many are noticing the efforts of business owners like the Frys. Slab Pizza owner Eric Butler says personal interaction with customers helps to build trust in the community.
Our customers get to talk to Andy and I, the other owner, whenever they come in the door. They see us here working.
Slab has hired 8 people since opening in the middle of the recession 2 years ago. And Butler says they plan to apply sound business practices to maintain their steady growth.
A lot of small businesses try to grow too fast. We're not a flash in the pan type of operation. We want to establish ourselves, and we want to be here a long time.
Looking towards the future, Ken Fackler, the director of the Orem Business Center, says he has great faith in local businesses.
Small business is the cornerstone of America, and as those small businesses grow, they hire more and more employees. They spend their profits in the community, which can generate more jobs in the community.
I caught the Fries on the very last day of the season, just as they were about to take the boats out of the water. But their winter won't be too much of a vacation. They'll be developing new plans for the next season and hiring new instructors.
We work harder. We've got a reputation to uphold and enhance and to put our best foot forward, and I think people expect that.
At Utah Lake, Lydia DeFranchi, 11 News.
For more information on resources available to small business owners, you can visit Lydia's story on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Still to come on 11 News at noon, flying feathers. Find out why some people are so upset about feathers flying off the shelves quicker than you can say fashion trend.
And unethical ads? The Humane Society is warning against a growing trend where people are more interested in making a buck than loving an animal. We'll be right back. The latest fashion trend is ruffling the feathers of many fly fishers. 11 News reporter Anna Hayes shows us why some can't buy the bait they so badly need.
This right here is the essence of flies, and so without it, boy, you're hard pressed.
Scott Masters has been fly fishing for 31 years. He also makes and sells fly ties for other fishers. These ties are called hackle, and Masters has never had a problem finding the feathers he uses to make them. But this year, the hackle feathers became unusually expensive and nearly impossible to find. Masters knew something smelled fishy.
How many of them, or even the hairdressers, are aware of what it's done to us guys that have been using this for decades and even a few centuries?
It turns out that women of all ages are using the feathers he needs to make a living as hair accessories.
Almost all sold out.
Hairdressers attach the long, narrow chicken feathers to a strand of hair with a clamp. But the female feather lovers don't realize when they hook hackle to their hair, fly fishermen can't buy or sell the hackle. And that makes life hard for those who make a living that way.
Well, like his hobby fishing, we have our same hobby with keeping our hair cute, so.
Women are paying up to $17 each to get the feathers in their hair. Man bait instead of fish bait.
So I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on them. Sometimes you can't really see it, and then I go like, "Ooh, you have a feather in your hair," and they like it, so.
But the trendsetters don't seem too concerned about the price of fishing bait, and hairdressers are making lots of money at the angler's expense.
I haven't directly heard of the fishermen, but I'm sure they're upset about it because we're buying all their feathers.
Fly fishermen rely on these brightly colored feathers to catch a fish. But as more and more girls are headed to the salon, less fishermen are headed to the rivers. Eric Sharp loves to lure in the trout on this blue ribbon section of the Provo River. Sharp says the fish love the hackle feathers, but not in a woman's hair.
Nice cast. It's an important material. It's something you got to have to tie a lot of the flies that you use a lot. So.
Even major retail stores like Cabela's now suffer in the feather frenzy. Beauticians have been coming in and buying all the hackle, leaving fishers high and dry.
But there would be some fly tires that would come in and ask for a specific hackle, and we didn't have it available, and disappointment.
But we're not picking on the ladies because they got them in their hair. We just wish we could get them too.
What makes it even harder on the struggling bait makers is that only a few places in the country grow these particular feathers.
I'm sure they've really ramped up their efforts in order to produce these or to raise them, and you know, they're making a killing on it.
So for now, the fishers and the fashionistas will have to share. And these guys may be safe for another day. On the Provo River, Anna Hayes, 11 News.
The bait makers tell Anna they're hoping this feather fad is a short-lived trend so that they can start selling their hackle to fishers again. The Humane Society Animal Shelter says they've seen some of their animals for sale on the internet just days after being adopted. Center officials say it's part of a growing trend called flipping, a real estate term typically used for buying property at a low price and quickly selling it for more money. They say they never expected to apply this term to live animals and that their cats and dogs would be targets to earn $1.
To hear about them just being on KSL the next day because somebody can get $50 more than what they paid for them, it's a little heartbreaking.
Volunteers say they have to give adopters the benefit of the doubt in order to give more animals the chance to be in good homes, but they hope classified websites will keep a closer watch for what shelters say are unethical pet ads.
A plane crashes near Chicago. An Oakland shooter is on the loose, and it's sentencing day for Dr. Conrad Murray. This is your look at news from across the nation. A plane crash in Illinois leaves 3 people dead and 2 recovering in the hospital. The Federal Aviation Administration says the plane took off from Georgia and was only 5 miles away from Chicago when the pilot reported fuel problems. This is the second deadly crash to happen in the area since Saturday. Police are searching for whoever shot 8 people in Oakland, California during what they say was a rap video shoot. Police say at some point during the filming, an argument erupted and bullets started flying, leaving 1 woman and a 1-year-old boy in critical condition. Police have not made any arrests and are still looking for a motive. And Michael Jackson's doctor received his sentence today, 4 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. A jury found Dr. Conrad Murray guilty 3 weeks ago, and Jackson's family says they're relieved he got the harshest sentence possible. Murray may get less than that due to crowded prisons in California, but will have to pay what could be a record amount of restitution to Jackson's 3 children. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Janae?
Thanks, Lydia. When 11 News at noon returns, multitasking. BYU's offensive coordinator wears many hats each day. See how he balances his time between the football team and his home team. And Clorox Cash, how one elementary school plans to win some money with a little help from a household cleaner.
And a beautiful late November day with highs near the 50s, but change is on its way. Your 11 weather when we return.
It's a beautiful sunny day outside.
It's beautiful, but it's freezing, like bitter cold.
You're a little cold. It's probably a little bit more cold when you're walking into campus, but it's going to get a little bit warmer. So it's a little bit warmer than it usually is for this time of year, and it is pretty outside. But as we take a look down south towards the south end of Utah County, you can see the haze that is around the mountains, and it's going to stay like that throughout the day. So you're going to see the sun peeking through, but it's going to look a little bit hazy because we do have that inversion that is keeping that air pollution in. So air quality is going to be down as that inversion stays. So 44 degrees currently outside right now, 67% humidity, and it's going to be calm, but that will change, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So throughout the day, the haze will stay around. The sunset will be about 5 o'clock tonight and a low of 25. So without that cloud cover, it is going to get a little bit colder, so very chilly tonight. So you may want to make sure you're bundled up and warm, because today, sun, but tonight it's going to be cold. And the storm that passed through yesterday didn't bring much. Mostly it just brought through clouds, and it's already moved out to the east. And we can take a look to the northwest, and we can see another storm that is actually building up and is going to make its way into the state. So we may see snow tomorrow, about tomorrow afternoon into Thursday, but the main concern with this storm is not the accumulation of snow, because it probably won't bring much, but what it is going to bring is wind into the state. So heavy winds in the canyons, and it's going to bring the wind chill down. So today is going to be a nice day, so enjoy it while it lasts, because it's going to get a little bit colder. 40s in the north, 43 in Logan, 43 in Wendover, down south into the high 50s with Cedar City at 58, and St. George 63, but they can expect a change as well. Taking a look at their 5-day forecast, we jump all the way to Thursday. It's going to be 48 degrees in St. George, which is a lot colder than normal for this time of year for them. And it will get a little bit warmer as they go throughout the week, but those winds on Thursday are really going to bring the temperatures down, and there will be gusts of winds coming through the canyons. Northern Utah, we can expect the temperatures to go down a little bit tomorrow. And Wednesday, we're going to have a blast of cold air that may change the rain into snow. So you may see snow, but there's not going to be a lot of snow. And throughout the week, it's going to go down a little bit in the temperatures. So we may see a little snow tomorrow and Thursday, but it's not going to be a lot.
So no major snowstorms coming
No
our way.
major snowstorms, but a lot of wind.
And a lot of dropping temperatures.
Oh, yes.
All right, thanks for the update.
Time for some hot chocolate.
Right, yeah, thanks, Jake.
Yep.
So it seems like lately all we're hearing in sports headlines is scandal, scandal, scandal.
Yeah, Kelsey, what's going on at Syracuse?
You know, it definitely feels like there are a lot of scandals right now stirring in sports. Coming up next, Syracuse scandal. The U.S. Attorney's Office and the U.S. Secret Service have taken over in the Bernie Fine investigation. And balancing act, how this BYU coach manages his team on the field and his team at home. Sports is next. Stay tuned. A developing story on the Syracuse basketball program. The U.S. Attorney's Office and the U.S. Secret Service have taken the lead in the investigation involving recently fired assistant coach Bernie Fine. Allegations of sexual abuse continue to build against Fine as the Syracuse basketball program looks to host Eastern Michigan tonight. Syracuse is ranked 3rd in the nation, and tonight's game will be their first one without him. Native Buckeye Urban Meyer is the new head football coach at Ohio State. Meyer resigned as the Florida football coach after last season for health reasons and to spend more time with his family. He won 2 national championships in 6 years at Florida and will now be one of the highest paid coaches in college football. The Saints made Monday Night Football look easy breezy hosting the New York Giants. Drew Brees went home with 5 total touchdowns as he led the Saints to a 49-24 victory over the Giants. Brees passed for 363 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 of them to tight end Jimmy Graham. The Saints are holding tight to their perfect 5-0 record at home, while the Giants have now lost 3 straight. Handling quarterback controversy is just one of the things BYU's new offensive coordinator is learning to juggle this year. 11 Sports reporter Rebecca Wone headed to the Smith Fieldhouse to see who else is on Brandon Doman's mind.
The pressure is on Doman this season as he settles into his new position with the team, and he's learning to parent in more than one way.
I truly love these football players, and I'm not quite old enough to be their dad, but I certainly feel like a big brother in some ways, and even a dad at times in the way that I care for them.
But the BYU football team isn't the only team Doman cares for like a father. Doman has his own recruits at home who all call him dad. He has 5 children, and all of them are adopted.
We've been really blessed. My wife and I, when I was a student here at BYU, found out that we weren't going to be able to have our own children. And so we began exploring the option of adoption, and I had just been drafted to play football for the 49ers.
And 9 years later, Doman is still filling up his roster, but being a father of 5 at home and a father of 50 at work presents its challenges.
If I don't balance that right, I'm sure that it could cause a problem with my own children.
Being a former NFL player presents challenges for his family. Adoption is a public event, and the Domans are no exception.
I wonder sometimes if they wish that sometimes not everybody knew that they'd been adopted, and bless their hearts, they handle it so well.
Doman says he isn't in this alone. He has someone who shares the coaching responsibilities to keep things balanced.
You know, my wife, man, she does a good job.
The Domans have 4 boys, and Brandon says they are well on their way to following in his football footsteps. We'll see how his balancing act has paid off this Saturday as the Cougars face the Warriors. Back to you guys.
All right, so the football team is getting ready to head to Hawaii this weekend, and the women's basketball team's there right now, and they're playing their first game today out of 3.
Wonder if the teams will meet up on the beach.
I know, lucky them. It's gorgeous there, I'm sure.
Nice and warm.
And in his press conference yesterday, Bronco Mendenhall said he's bringing his surfboard, so if I were him, I'd do the same too.
Yes.
Sounds like a great trip.
Thanks, Kelsey. Still to come on 11 News at noon. Cash for votes. One school will get $50,000 this year. We'll tell you about Orem Elementary's plan to get that grant. We'll be right back.
Public schools depend on funding from the state, but to fill the gaps in a time when budgets are shrinking, one local school is taking matters into their own hands. 11 News reporter Lizzie Early takes us to Orem, where a school is competing for a $50,000 grant.
Clorox is now more popular than ever at Orem Elementary. The school was nominated for the Clorox Power a Brighter Future grant by a mother of 3.
I found this grant opportunity in a magazine and thought it would be something that would apply really well to our school.
The school plans to use the $50,000 from new computers to help with mandated school testing.
We are trying to raise money so we can, so we don't have to start doing end of the year testing in March.
People all around the country have been voting for over a month, and out of thousands of schools, Orem stands in 7th place.
My PTA's been incredible. They are amazing. They've just really, I have parents that have put vinyl lettering on or contact paper on the back of their cars to promote it.
Orem Elementary has its computer lab all set up with internet connection and power. The only thing that's missing are the computers. People can vote by text or online. And how often can you vote?
Every single day.
The voting will end in 9 days. The principal says even if they are not awarded the grant, the community will continue to raise money for their computers. In Orem, Lizzie Early, 11 News.
That's hardcore fundraising. When I did fundraising, I just went door to door and sold wrapping paper.
Yeah, my only memory of fundraising was in middle school, and I sold one t-shirt to myself.
Nice.
That's 11 News at noon for Tuesday, November 29th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching.